Hi, this is James Sugg with Westpac London's end of day report for Monday, October the 8th. Not quite the end of the day, it's just coming up to 3 o'clock in London actually, but still time enough to give you the gist of the day's stories. Of course it's a holiday in the US today as well for Columbus Day. The Dow is trading, although bond markets are closed there. There's no economic data to report out of the US. We had two European reports. The Centix Investor Confidence Index for October posted a further small gain on top of the steeper gain it saw in September after 5 months of declines earlier this year. So there still seems to be a little bit of optimism creeping back into investors' psyche related to the ECB's bond buying program, even though it hasn't actually been activated yet. We had German exports, which jumped 2.4% in August. And that's despite quite a sharp fall in industrial production, although the IP numbers in Germany include construction, which tends not to be exported. Consumer goods actually were up 0.3% in terms of output. Energy was up 1.5%. Capital goods were flat. So somewhere in that lot, it seems that the export strength must have come from. We've got EU finance ministers meeting today in the Benelux ahead of a leaders' summit next week. The issue there, the issue is being discussed, Spanish budget reduction efforts, the Spanish banking system and banking union more generally. And we've heard already that there's talk of perhaps being a bit more lenient on Greece. And in fact, Angela Merkel was making her first visit to Athens since the sovereign debt crisis broke back in November 2009. So it'll be interesting to see if she's going down there to tell them good news or bad news, or a bit of both perhaps. So we're waiting to hear from about the outcome of the finance ministers' meeting, if any. There will be a press conference at some point. That's about it really. The US market is down at the moment. As I say, volumes will be pretty thin given it's a holiday in the States, and also we're only half an hour into trade. We're looking at a third of a loss so far on the Dow. And European markets, we're looking at losses of 2/3% on the FTSE in London. French market's down 1.1%, the German market off 1.3%, the Spanish market off 0.9%, and the Italian's off 1.7%. And that's still with a couple of hours of, 1.5 hours of trading to go. I think the main reason for the losses, though, frankly, is Chinese market losses. After a week's holiday there, Chinese markets were down when they opened, and there's been a lot of negative reports of late about the global economy, about the Australian economy, with the RBA now talking about the business investment boom ending next year. There's our analysis coming out saying, well, if we start getting falls in business investment, the numbers could actually be quite high, and high enough to offset spending in other parts of the economy. So, there's risk of a technical recession being recorded in Australia in 2013, according to some analysts. And that news and ongoing concern about the lack of traction, monetary policy in the places like the US, Europe and Japan seems to be getting, has generated a lot of negativity. And that seems to be the main driver of markets losing altitude today. In commodity markets, the ones we look at normally are all negative. Gold's down 1/3%, $1,773 an ounce. Oil's down 2/3 at $89.26 a barrel, and copper's down 1.6% at 371 cents a pound. The Aussie dollar actually was as low as 1.015 against the US dollar. I came into the office this morning. It's trading just under 1.02 at the moment, and that's because equity markets have recovered some of their earlier losses, I think. All right, that's it for today. We've got the NAB Business Survey coming up in Australia tomorrow, and one of the assistant governors giving a talk down in Hobart, actually. I'll be back with more tomorrow.